Welcome to Baby Wawa TV. It is reading time and it's also book review time. And we have a book entitled The Invisible Boy. And the author is Trudy Ludwig and the illustrator is Patrice Barton. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. So that's Mrs. Carlotti, the teacher. That's Brian. That's Nathan and Sophie. They're trying to get her attention, but they're a lot louder than Brian. Brian is just looking at them. And that's the rest of the members of the class. And the pictures in this book are absolutely wonderful. You boys and girls are going to love this book. Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Mika and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. Okay, so they're trying to pick members for their team. The best players get picked first. Then the best friends of the best players. Then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. So that's JT right there throwing the ball. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. So that must be Madison because she's talking. And that's everybody around the table just listening. And the rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. That was the best pool party ever. So they're all talking about a birthday party that has already passed. That's Brian sitting there. He's just listening. I'm so glad you guys had fun, says Madison. Everybody did except Brian. He wasn't invited. Oh my goodness. Aren't these pictures wonderful? They're just gorgeous. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings. Wow, look at that. His drawings are fantastic, aren't they? That's him drawing. Space aliens locked in intergalactic battles. Greedy pirates digging for treasure. And superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student, to the class. Brian smiles slyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. So that's everybody peeking over their book, checking out the new kid in the class whose name is Justin. And that's Brian looking very friendly with a nice smile. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. "What's that?" asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. That's her pointing at his food. That's Justin in the middle. That's his bowl of food. And Justin answers, "It's bulgogi." Bul what? Now, this is a Korean dish, and it's pronounced a couple of different ways. Some people pronounce it as it sounds like a P. It begins with a P. It's spelled P-U-L and then G-O-G-I, which is pronounced like bulgogi, but some people pronounce it bulgogi. Bulgogi, it's Korean barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some?" asked Justin. "There's no way I'd eat bulgogi." And the kids laugh, all of them, that is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. "Justin, I thought the bulgogi looked good. Brian." So it's signed by Brian. It's basically a note to Justin. And he drew a picture of himself eating the bowl filled with food. And it says, "Yum." And that was very kind and sweet of Brian to do that. At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. "You're Brian, right?" asks Justin. Brian answers, "Yeah." Brian responds with, "Thanks for the note." And that's Brian drawing right there with the chalk on the ground. "Hey, Justin," Emilio calls out from the teeter-ball court. "You're up next." "Sorry, I gotta go," says Justin. "By the way, that's a really cool drawing," he adds before taking off. So look at what Brian drew. Wow. That's pretty cool. He did that with chalk. He's a fantastic artist, right? Back in class, Mrs. Carlotti asked the kids to team up in twos or threes for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to peer off. Brian heads toward Justin. "I'm already with Justin," says Emilio. "Find someone else." Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Oh, he shouldn't wish that. Then Justin says, "Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio. Let him work with us." And Emilio responds with, "Okay, I guess." Mrs. Carlotti gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in that photograph. Use your imagination and have fun. So this is the photograph here. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, says Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. So they're about to work on a project together for their class. That's them working right there together. And this is them presenting their project to the class. And it's entitled The Crooked Story We Made Up on the Spot. It's lunchtime again, Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. Brian, he hears someone shout, "Hey, Brian, over here!" And it's Justin calling him over to sit with them and have lunch with them. Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. Justin says, "Cookies?" Brian responds with "Thanks." So Justin gives Brian a cookie. Maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all. Oh, so isn't that sweet? Now Brian has 2 new friends. Isn't that great? And this is the end of the story, boys and girls. Now, for any teachers, this is a great book for a teaching tool for any kind of class from K to 3. At the end of the book, there's a list of questions for discussion. And this was just a wonderful book. Again, it's entitled The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig. And the pictures were by Patrice Barton. And I must say, my review of this book is that it's just a great book to have in a classroom or even at home. I really had to go out and get this book because I just love the story and I love the pictures. But thank you for tuning in to Baby Wawa TV.